It's 2 a.m. and your brain has decided this is the perfect time to replay every awkward conversation you've had in the past decade, analyze the tone of that text you sent 3 days ago, and solve problems that don't even exist yet. Sound familiar? While everyone else is peacefully asleep, there's a specific type of person whose mind comes alive the moment their head hits the pillow. And no, you're not broken. You're not losing it. Your brain is actually doing something very specific, something that traces back to how you learned to survive. Today, we're exploring the psychology of people who overthink at night, and why this exhausting habit might reveal more about your past than you realize. First, let's understand what's actually happening when your brain refuses to shut down. During the day, you're busy. Work demands attention. People expect responses. Your environment constantly interrupts your thoughts. But at night, when the world goes quiet and the distractions disappear, your brain finally gets the space to process everything it shelved during the day. For most people, this processing happens smoothly. Their brain sorts through the day's events, files them away, and prepares for sleep. But for chronic nighttime overthinkers, something different is happening. Your brain isn't just processing. It's problem-solving, threat assessing, and preparing for dangers that may never come. It's running simulations of conversations that haven't happened yet. It's reviewing past interactions for hidden meanings. It's essentially working overtime on a shift it was never supposed to take. And here's what's fascinating. This pattern often started in childhood. Many people who overthink at night grew up in environments where vigilance was necessary. Not necessarily dangerous environments, just uncertain ones. Environments where you learned that being prepared meant being safe, where anticipating problems before they arrived was how you stayed in control. This is the psychology of the nighttime overthinker, a mind trained to scan for threats, solve problems independently, and never fully relax because relaxation once felt risky. Let me paint you a picture. You're 8 years old, coming home to an empty house. Both parents are working. No one's there to ask you how school was, to help with your homework, or to tell you everything's going to be okay. Just you, silence, and whatever problems need solving. What does that child's brain learn? It learns that you are your own primary resource, that problems don't wait for convenient moments, that figuring things out alone isn't just a skill. It's survival. And here's the critical part. It learns to do this mental work during quiet moments, when no one else is around to interrupt or redirect. Fast forward to adulthood. The house isn't empty anymore, but the pattern remains. When the world goes quiet, when everyone else is asleep and you're finally alone with your thoughts, your brain kicks into that same mode. It's problem-solving time, planning time. Figure it out before it becomes a crisis time. Psychologists call this a high-contingency mindset, where your brain learned that outcomes depend entirely on your ability to think ahead, predict problems, and prepare solutions. You're not overthinking. You're doing what your brain was trained to do. Stay 3 steps ahead because no one else was going to do it for you. Here's where it gets interesting. People who overthink at night often grew up in environments they couldn't control. Unpredictable family dynamics, economic uncertainty, instability that taught them the world is fundamentally unreliable. So what do you do when you can't control your environment? You control your thoughts, you control your preparations, you control the mental simulations of every possible outcome. Nighttime overthinking isn't random anxiety, it's a control mechanism. During the day, the world is chaotic. People interrupt, plans change. External demands pull you in every direction. But at night, alone with your thoughts, you finally have something you can control. Your mental space. You're trying to gain control by thinking through every scenario, but the overthinking itself makes you feel out of control. You're trying to find peace by preparing for every possible problem, but the preparation steals your peace. It's a paradox your brain hasn't figured out how to escape, and it's exhausting. Because here's what your brain doesn't realize. Most of those 2 a.m. problems you're solving, they either never happen or they resolve themselves in ways you couldn't have predicted anyway. But your brain learned early that preparedness equals safety. So it keeps running those simulations, keeps rehearsing those conversations, keeps scanning for threats, even when you're lying in bed trying to sleep. Let's talk about something nighttime overthinkers rarely admit. They don't trust anyone else to handle things. Not because people in their lives are incompetent, but because their brain learned a very specific lesson. If you want something done right, you do it yourself. This radical self-reliance, this bone-deep belief that you are your own safety net, it doesn't turn off just because you're trying to sleep. In fact, nighttime is when it intensifies. Because during the day, you're busy doing, you're handling things, you're proving to yourself that you've got this under control. But at night, when you stop doing, your brain panics. Wait, it says, we're not actively solving problems right now. What if something goes wrong? What if we missed something? Better review everything, better prepare for tomorrow. Better make sure we haven't forgotten anything critical. This is why telling a nighttime overthinker to just relax is useless advice. Relaxing feels dangerous. Relaxing means letting your guard down, and letting your guard down is what your brain learned not to do. You're not choosing to overthink. Your nervous system is doing what it was trained to do. Stay vigilant, stay prepared, stay self-reliant. Because depending on others once felt too risky, here's something most people don't understand about nighttime overthinkers. The darkness feels safe. During the day, you have to perform. You have to be on. You have to manage how others perceive you, respond appropriately to their needs, and maintain the version of yourself that the world expects. But at night, alone in the dark, you can finally drop the performance. No one's watching, no one's judging. No one's asking you to be anything other than what you are in that moment. For people who grew up valuing privacy, who learned that visibility often came with unwanted attention or demands, nighttime offers something precious: complete solitude. The problem is, your brain uses that solitude to process everything it couldn't during the day. All the emotions you had to suppress, all the reactions you had to control, all the thoughts you didn't have time or space to think. So the overthinking isn't just problem solving, it's emotional processing that got delayed by 12 hours. You're finally feeling what you couldn't let yourself feel at work. You're finally reacting to what happened yesterday. You're finally being honest about what's bothering you. Because there's no audience to manage, no expectations to meet. The darkness gives you permission to be real. And being real means confronting everything you've been avoiding. People who overthink at night are often the most capable people you know. They're the ones who handle crises calmly, who solve problems others don't even see coming, who seem to have everything under control. But here's what's happening behind that competence: a mind that never stops working. Because when you learned early that your value is tied to your usefulness, that being reliable means being needed, you developed a specific fear. What if I'm not prepared? What if I miss something? What if I fail at the one thing I'm supposed to be good at? So your brain runs constant quality control checks. Did I handle that situation correctly? Could I have done better? What should I do differently next time? This isn't perfectionism, it's something deeper. It's the belief that your worth depends on your competence, that mistakes aren't just errors, they're threats to your fundamental value as a person. And at night, when you're not actively demonstrating your competence, your brain gets anxious. It needs to prove to itself that you're still capable, still prepared, still worth keeping around. So it rehearses, it reviews, it plans. It solves hypothetical problems to reassure itself. See? We've got this. We're ready for anything more. It's from carrying the burden of needing to be constantly competent in a world that feels fundamentally unpredictable. Here's something that separates nighttime overthinkers from regular worriers. They don't seek external reassurance. Most anxious people will reach out when they're spiraling. They'll text a friend, call someone, seek validation that everything's okay. Nighttime overthinkers don't. Not because they don't want reassurance, but because their brain learned that external validation is unreliable, that the only person who can truly solve your problems is you. So when you're lying awake at 3 a.m. replaying that awkward conversation, analyzing what someone meant by their tone, worrying about something you said, you're not going to reach out for help. You're going to solve it internally. Figure it out yourself. Think it through until you've either resolved it in your mind or exhausted yourself into sleep. This internal validation system developed because external validation wasn't consistently available during your formative years. So you learned to be your own source of certainty, your own problem solver, your own comfort. The cost? You're alone with your thoughts in a way that most people never experience. While others can offload their worries by talking them through, you're stuck in a closed loop. Your brain talking to itself, answering its own questions, trying to reassure itself with logic that doesn't quite work at 2 a.m. Here's what makes nighttime overthinking worse in the modern world. You're biologically wired for vigilance. In an era that never stops giving you things to be vigilant about. Your ancestors used that nighttime alertness to listen for predators. You're using it to replay work emails and worry about text message responses. Your brain is doing what it evolved to do. Scan for threats, prepare for problems. Stay alert when you're most vulnerable. But the threats have changed. They're not physical anymore. They're social, professional. And unlike a predator you can either fight or escape, these modern threats are ambiguous, ongoing, and impossible to fully resolve. So your brain just keeps processing, keeps scanning, keeps trying to find solutions to problems that don't have clear answers. The vigilance that once kept humans alive is now keeping you awake. The psychology of people who overthink at night is the psychology of early trained self-reliance meeting modern uncertainty. It's a mind that learned to solve problems alone, stay vigilant in unpredictable environments, and never fully relax because relaxation once felt like a luxury you couldn't afford. You're not overthinking because you're anxious. You're overthinking because your brain is doing exactly what it was trained to do. Stay ahead of problems, maintain control through preparation, and handle everything internally, because that's how you learn to stay safe. The nighttime isn't when your brain malfunctions. It's when it finally has the space to do what it's been trying to do all day. Process, prepare, and protect. You're not broken. You're not doing it wrong. You're just carrying a survival pattern that doesn't know the danger has passed. And maybe, just maybe, understanding that is the first step toward finally getting some sleep. Please subscribe my channel and support me. Thank you.